All right, this is Daf Yomi in motion number 811. Today we're going to learn Daf Tzadi Aleph in Bava Metzia, and we're going to be continuing to speak about the Indian of the lav of below Sachsom, short Disha. So the Gemara begins on Tzadi Amid base, 7 lines up from the bottom. Tanar Banin, bring a brisa. Hachoisem es hapara muzaveg. Whoever covers muzzles his animal, and then muzaveg b'kalaim, or ties his animal, harnesses his animals in a yoke. Two separate species, which is also kalaim and kali behemoth. You're not allowed to work two different types of animals together, next side by side, and he did that. Mizaveg b'kalayim. He harnessed in a yoke two, like a donkey and a para. So he's part of the person who who muzzled his animal, or that harnessed into a yoke two separate species of animals. He is part. He was part of. The ain't no like it, and he will not get malchus for having been over on the lap. Eladash umanhi bilbad. The only one that's going to be chayav is the one that will then take the para with the muzzle and then do threshing, do disha with it, or if he'll take the yoke of animals and use it and guide it and work with those two animals. Whoever will then take those and work with them, he'll be the one that'll be over, and he will be. We're in Daf Tzadi on the base. Now 5 lines up from the bottom. He will be the one that's over on the lab and will beget malchus. Itma chosma b'kol v'han higa b'kol. Let's say he prevents the animal as it's doing the disha from eating by yelling at it every time it goes down to eat, so it doesn't eat. So that's the type of chasima of muzzling by way of a kol. Or if he guides it by yelling at it and running alongside of it and yelling at it to go in a certain direction. And therefore working with it in that way as the two separate species are together. Cool. Rabbi Yochanan Omar Chayev is Chayev that there is a lab, because the coal, even though he's not touching it, he said that the movement of the lips that produces the coal is the Maisa. Omar Chayev. Reish Lakish Omar Pati. He's Pati because he holds that the coal itself is nothing. It's not a Maisa. Rabbi Yochanan Omar Chayev. Akimas Piv. Heavy Maisa. That the bending of the mouth to make words, to make sounds. That's a Maisa, and that is with that he can be over on Lo Sachsom Shorbatisho or plowing with Kale Behemoths. Reish Lakish Omar Potter Koila Lo heavy Maisa, because just the voice alone, sound vibrations, he's not focusing on the muscles of the mouth, is not a Maisa. So that's the Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. But now we're going to ask Reish Lakish. Eitzday Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. He asks. Reish Lakish was the one that said that there is a Maisa. The making of sounds was enough of Maisa to make a person over on these two lavim. So he's asking on Reish Lakish. There's a brisa in Tmuras, Sectus Tmuras, Tmura and Hulin. It says, Lo she'odam rashai lahamir, el'she'im hamir mumir u'soifeges ha'arboim. It's talking about the lav of ma'amir, that of zutachazu, Tmuras. If a person had already made an animal hektish, who's makdish an animal for the mizbeach, it's a lav, it's aser, mitam lo yachlifenu. It's a lav not to switch the kedusha from an animal that is called kedusha mizbeach, kedusha aguf, over to another animal. So therefore, the kedusha of that animal go off and go into a different animal for no reason. Both animals are. An animal that has no moon, there's no reason to take the kedusha off of it. That's the law. Why take the kedusha off of an animal that was already designated, that has no blemish? And that's a law. So the Mishnah over there said that anybody can do it. The Lashon, as Rashi says in the top Rashi, it's the ratio. What we're reading now, there's a ratio. It says ratio Demas Nisin Hakol Ma'amirin. Anyone can do this. Tomorrows can take the kedusha off of one and put it onto the other. Echad anashim ve'echad anashim. So now back in the Gemara. We weren't saying in the ratio that we're supposed to do it. It's just that anyone who would do it, it would be chal. The kedusha would be toifus, and that person would be over on the lav. Not that you're supposed to do it. So, lo she'adam, the top line of the Gemara, lo she'adam rashai la'amir ela she'im hamir moimer v'soifeges ha'arboim. It'll be toifus, and he will be punished for it. And what do we see over there? We see that all that's there is a lav she'ein loy maisa. All it is dibur, and it's considered a maisa. That's the shaila. That's the kasha that Rabbi Yochanan is asking to Reish Lakish. Let's see the next 3 lines down in the Rashi. That person will be punished. The person is not supposed to take kedusha off something that has no reason to take kedusha off of it. That it's only dibur, and he's getting punished for it. Alma akima sposayim she'adam magi b'sposay ma'asehi. Support for Rabbi Yochanan Shita. Like the Gemara. Amarle Hamani. So Rabbi Reish Lakish would answer back to Rabbi Yochanan that brisa in Tamuras or in Chulin is just going according to Rabbi Yehuda. But when we are talking about lo Sachsom, and Reish Lakish said that it's nothing, it's not there won't be any lav, there won't be any isser involved by using one's voice to do these either to muzzle an animal or to lead kalayim of behemoths. Reish Lakish will say it's nothing, but over there in Tumura, that's only because we're seeing over there that the voice alone was able to cause the isser and bring punishment, because that's the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds, and that's the more, second line down. Amalei Hamani, Rabbi Yehudi. That's because it's Rabbi Yehuda over there. He's a special das yaki that holds the Omar, a love she'ein bo maisa, like in a life, that if even any lav that doesn't have any maisa, there are malchus, and that would be over there. But over here, the chasima of an animal, so we're just not going like Rabbi Yehuda, and that would be Reish Lakish. Right to the Gemara. Gemara says, how can we say that brisa in Tumura is Rabbi Yehuda? That's the problem. So if we would, then the Reish Lakish has a good answer. But if we can't say that brisa is Rabbi Yehuda, then Reish Lakish is in.
If we would, what is Reish Lakish's answer? Why is
his answer is that over there, don't bring me a kasha from a brisa in Tumura. That happens to be a das yaki of Rabbi Yehuda, who does hold of that a lav she'ein bo maisa that doesn't have any physical maisa, that person can get malchus for that. But over here, when we're talking about yelling and preventing the animal from eating by way of one's voice, there's no maisa in there. And Reish Lakish says that there is, it's nothing. And Rabbi Yochanan says it's something. That's not Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Reish Lakish is just, not going like Rabbi Yehuda. No, over here. And over there, that brisa is according to the town of Rabbi Yehuda.
Why isn't Rabbi Yehuda a raya for Reish Lakish?
I mean, against Reish Lakish.
Against Reish Lakish, yeah, right, for Rabbi Yochanan. Isn't Rabbi Yochanan trying to bring that as a raya to support his position?
I mean, why isn't that? In fact, you have somebody that holds that shita. Rashi, the next Rashi, the second narrow line down, Rashi, Rabbi Yehudi. The Kamaduch that we see him in various number of places. My sin-in-law that he has that shita. Now, the Rashi is just proving how we see from Rabbi Yehuda that he holds up a lav she'ein bo maisa like in a lot. But the Chachamim don't hold, which is the Rabbim, don't hold of that, so we don't have to take that into account so much.
So the Rabbani disagree with Rabbi Yochanan.
There are those that disagree with Rabbi Yochanan.
I mean, not Rabbi Yochanan,
Rabbi Yehuda.
Rabbi Yehuda. So since they disagree with him, then his opinion is not a raya for Rabbi Yochanan. Is that what that's the point?
Right. So right. If there are those that it's not a, he thought it was a, it's a stam mishnah, or the stam brisa maybe, or a mishnah, and so we thought it was like the chachamim, a rabbin. So then you would have to hold that way. But if you show that stam mishnah brisa is that das yakut that holds that way, so you don't. It's not necessarily a kasha that there can exist the opposite shita. The Gemara says to Omar, and we see Rabbi Yehuda shita over here, 2 lines down in the Gemara. Mani Rabbi Yehuda to Omar lav she'ein bo ma'isa liken all live. V'mimantis mukmas lak Rabbi Yehuda. How can we say that brisa is Rabbi Yehuda b'chlal? And if we can't say it, then Reish Lakish is back to then we return to the kasha on Reish Lakish. So what's the problem with saying that brisa is Rabbi Yehuda? Aha, Katani, Reish, if you look at the ratio of that brisa, Hakol Mamirin, Echad Anashim ve'Echad Anashim. Anyone can say that this stach is this take the kedusha off of a korban and put it onto a different animal. Anyone, women or men, and then it says v'habinin boin. Over there they asked hakol l'sugei. What is the lashon hakol? Is come to include something. What is it coming to include? L'sugei yorish, coming to include a yorish who inherited this animal that had kedusha on it from his father. His father died. The question is, can the yorish be mamer the kedusha that's on this animal onto a different animal? Because we say that there, and we'll see in a second, sometimes there's understanding that you have to have, the animal has to be yours in order to be able to do this. Can someone who inherited the animal do it also? That was the shaila. With the low Rabbi Yehuda, and over there, right? This is I guess what they continue to say over there. They asked the question, and it's talking about a Yorish, and they said over there that it's not like Rabbi Yehuda. To say such a thing, that the Yorish can also do Mamir, can't be like Rabbi Yehuda. Why? They said it over there. To eat Rabbi Yehuda, Ha'omar Yorish enu Mamir, Yorish enu Soimer. Because that's his shita, that Rabbi Yehuda's shita is that Yorish, since it's not his animal originally, he wasn't the one that put the Kedusha on it, he can't be Mamir it. Take the kedusha off of it, and so too, since he said a similar din, whoever put the kedusha on it, that's the person. That's called the bailim that will have to do smicha to the korban when it's being brought as a korban. But Rabbi Yehuda held, since the Yorshim weren't the ones that originally put the kedusha on it, they can't do mimer. They can't be the ones that be someh to do the smicha, and they also don't do mamir, and that Bramish Bryce over there was saying that the a call was an inclusion to come to include Yorshim. So that Bryce couldn't have been Rabbi Yehuda. Now, therefore, it seems like the Chachamim, and therefore it will be a kasha back. Kasha returns on Reish Lakish that said that using one's voice was nothing, because this Bryce was showing us that a lav she'ein bo ma'isa had le'ein bo ma'asim that was mamish like in alive, that it was a real kiyum of the Yisr. So Reish Lakish would answer back, true. That Bryce over there said that it was a lab, she'ein bo la'maisa, and like in a line. That's Rabbi Yehuda shita, true. So they hold, that Brisa was holding like Rabbi Yehuda in that respect, but when it came to the union of the Yorish, that Rabbi Yehuda hold the Yorish cannot do Mamir, that Tana, whoever was the Tana of that Brisa, was disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda on that point. So that Tana agreed with Rabbi Yehuda that a lav she'ein bo ma'isa is a ma'isa, is like and alive, and disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda, Legabi the Yorish, that the Yorish can't do Mamir, and because he wasn't the one that originally put the Kedusha on the animal. And that's what the Reish Lakish would then answer. And therefore, it would still be Rabbi Yehuda, and wouldn't be a kasha on Reish Lakish. Hi Tana, Sovar Lo Kibose Bechada V'Poli Gole Bechada. That's Reish Lakish's answer. That Tana was Rebbe Yehuda. Did hold of Rebbe Yehuda Shita, but in one point I disagreed with him in another, and it therefore is Rebbe Yehuda Shita, and it's not a kasha on me when Rebbe Reish Lakish says that using one's voice to muzzle an animal to prevent him from eating, that he can still hold him. Rebbe Yochanan doesn't at this point have a kasha on him.
So at the point we are now, we're assuming that the Tana is the Rabbanan.
Right. Whoever that Tana was not exactly Rebbe Yehuda. It was someone agreeing with him and disagreeing with him. Right, the Tana Rabbanan, Hachoisem es hapar, Vidash bo, Loika u'mishalem dalet kavin lepar, but gimel kavin lechamor. Whoever muzzles an animal and does disha with it, and then will have to be punished for that, and also have to pay the owner of the animal the amount of food that it deprived the animal of by not letting it eat while it was working. Because let's say we're dealing with a person who rented an animal from somebody in order to do disha. So he's supposed to let it eat as it's doing disha, and he didn't. So when he gives it back, the owner of the animal is going to have to feed it because it didn't get food while it was working. So we see here that not only is the one who muzzled the animal going to get punished for the lav, he's also going to have to pay the owner of the animal for not having let it feed, and now that owner will have to feed it himself. And then we see like malchus and tashlumin. Usually we don't see two punishments come to a person for the same for when one punishment is more severe than the other. We say kum le b'rabmine. We give the person the more severe punishment, and we just can't, even though he might be chayav that lesser punishment, we can't chayav that other punishment. But here we see we're chayaving the malchus and the tashlumin. That's the kasha. We know the clown that when there's a more severe punishment, we don't give both. We only give the more severe. So why here is he also paying? Omar Abaye, Hamani Rebbe Meir, because this Tana is Rebbe Meir who holds the Omar Loik Mishalim. He might hold that we don't say Misa Mishalim, that Kumle the Rabbi maybe Rebbe Meir holds that when a person's getting Misa, he won't have to pay. But Rebbe Meir Shita seems to be that when if it's only Malchus, he will still get Malchus and pay. But Rava held that what was going on over here. So according to Rebbe Abaye, that's the hezber of this brisa. It's just that mandam of Rebbe Meir that could say such a thing. Rava says, Rava Omar behold it says yidei shemayim. That the reason why he's paying the tashlumin, even though the Beis Din could never extract it from him, but this person he does have a chiyuv tashlumin because he did cause personal loss, and he wants to be yotzi midei shemayim. So that means that even though the Beis Din can't extract the money is still owed, and so that's why the person wants to pay it. And the example that he brings, Rava brings to support this point, that that's what he's trying to do, to be yotzi midei shemayim, is from that even though that there's a more severe punishment, that there's a chiyuv tashlum still exists, but the Beis Din just can't extract it from him, is from esnan. The payment that a person gives to a zoyna, they used to give an animal, like a seh.